10-game slate.
A lot of stuff going on this slate too.
Lots of news. I'm sure will be pouring in. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is all going to be right now. There's 10 games. You guys saw what happened with the 5-game freaking slate yesterday. So I'm going to say this again. If anyone's listening to this or listening later, if you're a member, please be in chat. The entire slate for NBA. This isn't NFL and MLB and everything else where we know stuff hours in advance. It's not how it is. We saw Colin Sexton get ruled out 5 minutes before their game locked last night.
Yeah.
So
That was
you
crazy.
have to be ready. That's not going to happen every night, but that kind of stuff routinely happens no matter what the NBA or anyone tries to do about teams putting out lineups at a certain time before. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters until the game locks, and even then, people will get ruled out after it. So, like, we didn't get the Hawks lineup until after lock yesterday.
Yeah.
Or the day before, not yesterday.
That was nuts.
So even though it didn't matter, but like say Trae Young got ruled out, even though he had a crap game, like say he got ruled out or something like that. Say he had some weird injury no one knew about, got ruled out after lock. We were just screwed. Like it's things like that. So, but enough ranting about that. We're gonna go position by position. 10 games. There's gonna be some people that just don't need to be talked about. Bigger slates. Don't try and get too cute for cash. You don't need to. So, starting off at point guard, I've wrote down 2 things we need to talk about news-wise. We don't know if De'Aaron Fox is going to play. I go ahead and say that if he does not play, Halliburton, Corey Joseph, and to a lesser extent Buddy Hield are on play. I would imagine Halliburton starts over Kojo. They just keep bringing Kojo off the bench. Kojo equals Corey Joseph. But got a lot of usage when De'Aaron Fox went out last night. Imagine he would start. I really like him. If he does start, this is a 10 o'clock game. I don't know when we're going to get this news. Toronto has actually been pretty bad against guarding everybody. So
surprisingly, it's not usually
surprisingly,
like that.
yeah. They're. I think it's because they don't have Gasol and Ibaka anymore to hold down that middle, and it kind of just opens up the whole floor. I don't know what's going on, but they're. I mean, they're a good team, but they're just allowing a lot of points. I mean, you look through, they've allowed 123, 126, 120, 83 to New York, 100 to Philly, 119 to San Antonio, 113 to New Orleans. So take out the 183 game against the Knicks. They've not allowed under 100 points. And if you also take out the 100-point game against Philly, which they lost, they have not allowed 100 below 113. So they're allowing a lot of points. So I like Halliburton if he plays. Next piece of news we need to go over is Curry. Curry's also Steph Curry. Steph Curry's questionable. If Curry is out, you can see Wiggins run the point. You could see Damian Lee start. You could see Brad Wanamaker start. You could also see that kind of like point Draymond. I have no idea what to do if Curry sits. I don't think it really particularly matters. I think there's better value, and there's not a ton of people that I want to pay up for today. I'm not wanting to pay for a James Harden. Giannis, I can see paying for because it's going to be it should be a competitive game. I'm not really wanting to pay for Westbrook with his finger problem and then playing Boston. I'm sure Westbrook will be fine, but don't really want to go there. Don't want to pay for LeBron James or AD on a back-to-back. Me and Hunter were just discussing this. Like, I think they both play, but those are other positions. Talk about later. Keep going down this point guard realm. I think Donovan Mitchell's a little bit underpriced on DraftKings in a competitive game against Milwaukee. They tend to allow. I think they allowed the most 3-point attempts last year, and like made 3-pointers as well. I think they're pretty on pace to be doing the same thing again this year. They just allow people to shoot threes. You've got Giannis and Brook Lopez down in the paint. It's harder to score in the paint. So mid-range jump shooters and 3-point shooters excel against Milwaukee, and they always have. That screams Donovan Mitchell. Again, he's not as bad as Devontae Graham right now, but one of these players that isn't shooting the greatest right now. As soon as he has a good shooting night, like above 50 or 60% shooting night, like people have all the time, he's going to pop off. He's going to score you 50. He's kind of popping in some optimals that I'm running right now with some of the stuff that I want. So he's definitely in consideration. I think Drew Holiday is also in consideration on DraftKings. Again, competitive game.
That's a great
Drew
price
Holiday
for
should
him.
excel.
Yeah.
What?
That's a good price. 6,600.
Yeah, he's just a little bit too cheap on DraftKings. I don't know if I end up getting there, because he's kind of like boomer bust-y this year. But it is going to be a competitive game. In competitive games, he's played more minutes. He's got more usage. His best game was probably the the 23rd against Boston. He played 38 minutes, got you 42 fantasy points. You could see that again tonight. Utah, despite getting blown out by Brooklyn, is a good team. So I don't know if I'll go there for cash, but he's in consideration. One person I want to bring up in the middle, this middle kind of price range of people on DraftKings is Lonzo Ball. He's cheaper than his brother LaMelo, which don't play LaMelo Ball now. He's getting too expensive. They've shown in competitive games the last time they played competitive game, he played less minutes. They're going with Graham and Rozier to finish games in competitive games. LaMelo's not getting that run.
Zach, you got narrative
I like
street galore,
Lonzo.
dude. Narrative street.
At
They're
what?
playing each other.
Exactly. That's all. That's the whole thing that I'm bringing up Lonzo for. This is completely GBP. I'm not playing Lonzo in cash. But I mean, I haven't looked enough into Lonzo's rotation. I don't know if he plays the whole first quarter. I think he does, or plays the first 10 minutes. He plays like a normal starters rotation. We could see him play the first 5 minutes of the game tonight, sit for 3, and then play against his brother for the into the first, into the second, sit for another 3 to 4 minutes, finish out the quarter, kind of get that off rotation like you see with Joel Embiid, like you see with Giannis, like you see with Jason Tatum. So you could see that tonight just because he's playing his brother, and I think New Orleans thinks they can win this game. And honestly, playing Lonzo off rotation and having Bledsoe as well isn't the worst idea in the planet anyway. They may already be doing this just flip flop with Bledsoe. I haven't looked at rotations for them because this is purely GPP. I'll look into it later, but running those two on the court not all the time together isn't a bad idea anyway. So you could see that. Also, you could just see Lonzo want to take it to his brother's team as well. We all know Lonzo has an upside of 60 points or more because he can get good triple doubles, and when he shoots well, he can definitely get that as well. We all know Charlotte doesn't play any damn defense, so that's another check mark in his category. Don't think he's a cash play, but the next thing I'm going to talk about is a complete cash play is Cole Anthony. We just got word that Aaron Gordon is also going to sit. So now you're down Markelle Fultz and Aaron Gordon and a potential of Evan Fournier to be also out against the Houston Rockets. Cole Anthony has not looked that great this year. He hasn't. But this is a 5-star number 1 point guard in the country recruit coming into UNC in a shortened season with an ankle injury and getting drafted. If we have a normal season last year and Cole Anthony is healthy the whole season, we may see him as the number 1, 2, 3, 4 pick instead of him dropping down where I think he was like 10th or something. I have no idea. Outside the top 3 draft picks, I have no idea who else got drafted. He has the talent, and it's not like John Wall or James Harden really play defense. John Wall does to an extent. Like he'll still give some blocks, but I mean, Cole Anthony is he's going to have all the opportunity in the world tonight. I don't see who else. It's not like this team has DJ Augustine anymore. It's not like they have these other people. I've been looking through their depth chart. I have no idea who else besides him is going to play the point tonight, especially if Evan Fournier is out. We may see some Terrence Ross point guard, which that's a FanDuel play. I like him over there. Don't like him on DraftKings. 6,100 is way too expensive for Terrence Ross, even in this scenario. So Cole Anthony is a smash play. I've skipped over LeVert just because he's in my placeholder lineup right now. Same LeVert, just play LeVert tonight. He can be point guard or small forward on DraftKings. That is ridiculous. If you want, there's so many good players with positional flexibility tonight. It's going to be DraftKings is going to have a lot of variation between lineups because you can kind of get whatever you want. Play LeVert on FanDuel. He's like 6,800, I think. Just play him. Don't overthink it. Devontae Graham is still too cheap on both sites. This dude shot 3 for 15 and still scored you 38 points last time. He is
It's
shooting
nuts.
25% on the season. Eventually, this dude is going to have a good shooting night, and he's going to score you 50. It's just gonna happen. He's getting 15 shots up a game.
That's 10x.
In competitive games, he's playing like we saw it last game, and he got 38 fantasy points while shooting below like 25%. So I really like Graham again. I don't know if I'll be there for cash on DraftKings or FanDuel, but he's a really, really, really strong play. The next two things I want to talk about are value on DraftKings, and then we'll be done with point guards, and then if Hunter wants to bring up anything. Um, Anthony Melton for the Memphis has been getting more and more minutes each game. Saw it again last night. This Memphis team gives zero fucks about who plays what minutes. They're all going to play like 25 minutes. Anthony Melton at 3,400 is going to play like 25 minutes, and he produces in minutes. I would never touch any more Memphis people. I know I had Delon Brooks originally in the DraftKings core last night. That was then changed. For people that did get the change, and that's why I brought up the thing earlier that you have to be ready for changes. Um, don't play any Memphis people besides the Anthony Melton going forward until we get Ja Morant back and see what this team looks like with Ja Morant back. For the last 2 games now, they have all played like less than 30 minutes, like the entire team. Don't touch them in GPPs. Don't play them anywhere. The Anthony Melton is your only choice. Joe Val is a super GPP play just because he can produce in limited time. We've seen it time and time again. Don't play anyone else. Kyle Anderson, no. Dylan Brooks, no. Tyus Jones, no. Brandon Clark, no. All these people, no. Don't do it. And then the last value piece of point guard is Chris Chiozza. I need to look more at Brooklyn's rotation. I kind of got caught up in schoolwork. I was going to look at that, but Chris Chiozza, I'm pretty sure played like 22 minutes last time. Outside of Levert and Joe Harris, this team is kind of just everyone plays like 20 to 25 minutes right now, with Kyrie and Durant out. So Chris Chiozza, I think he's like 3K flat still. Can you confirm that? Yes, he's still 3K flat.
Yeah, he's 36 on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's the minimum. He's near the minimum at the minimum on FanDuel too. So I think there's better plays. I think he's point guard only on FanDuel. I think there's better plays. Oh yeah, there is. You've got Elfrid Payton and Cole Anthony there. Those are better plays.
And man, it says he only played 15 minutes last night. Is that right?
He only played 15. I thought he played like 22. Right? I may have misread something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he played 16 minutes. He still got you 23.75.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Against Philly, this is against Memphis now. I'm just saying, if we don't get any other better value and you need a 3K punt, Chris Chiozza is a good play. On DraftKings, that's all I have for point guard. I don't know if you have anything, Hunter, that you want to talk about for FanDuel.
Yeah, let me see. I'm kind of doing my first look. I mean, I think it's worth talking about John Wall. I mean, his price is getting up there on FanDuel. He's 8,500, but the dude's producing.
He's 8K on DraftKings.
Yeah, he's producing beside Harden. So that's a narrative everybody wants to keep riding. Oh, he's not going to produce beside Harden. Well, clearly he is. I mean, he's.
Yeah, I wish John Wall was still in the 7Ks because then I'd be like, he can play him. You could definitely still play him for sure. You're hoping for that boom game that he can obviously get.
I think Lowry's interesting at 7,700 against no Fox. But if he's playing against Fox, I don't like it. So it's, trying to think what else. LaMelo Ball.
Are you saying that because you think that De'Aaron Fox is a good defender?
Decent defender. Am I wrong?
I think he's bad.
Is he?
Defender. I never mind targeting Fox.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was a good defender.
He's not the.
I haven't pulled up the DVP.
The Drew Holiday, the Chris Paul, the.
Gotcha.
Jimmy Butler,
then Lowry's
people like that I worry about targeting against.
Then I think Lowry's way too cheap. Probably $500 too cheap.
Yeah, he could be your last piece for sure. I wouldn't start my builds with him.
Yeah.
Like, if you built everything else and you had $7,700 left or 78, 79, whatever it is, you could play Lowry for sure.
Kind of like Kobe White. He's kind of coming up finally. He's 6,600 on FanDuel.
Yeah, much better price on FanDuel. He's 72 on DraftKings. Against the Lakers, not really where I want to go. 66 on FanDuel, you could do.
Peyton's a very good price on FanDuel. He's 5,500 still.
Hey, Peyton's a lock for cash.
Yeah, and like you said, Anthony's 5K. That's a good price.
That's where I'm going for cash.
Austin Rivers is 4,500.
Spoiler alert. Okay, Austin Rivers this needs to be brought up. Austin Rivers played well last game. We've seen blow up games from Austin Rivers. Maybe like, oh, Austin Rivers could be a good like kind of low-owned dart thrower in GVP today. I would not be surprised if this guy gets 10 minutes tonight. He literally said in an interview after that game that he was like, I've been a part of many different teams, and this is not a team about the Knicks. So
Who said
I
that?
don't Austin Rivers. I don't know where he lies in this rotation now. I can't imagine that his teammates want to play with him or that Tom Thibodeau wants to play him now.
Why did he say that?
I could, I could, I don't know because he's a fuck. I have no idea. I, I'm just, it's a thing to be brought up. I wouldn't play Austin Rivers if he doesn't say that stuff. I would be here telling you that you could play Austin Rivers in GVP. He's a fine price. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole with those comments. So it was just something I saw on Twitter. So
Gotcha. Okay.
something to keep an eye on.
And then the last piece I see at point guard for me is Melton, 3,800. That's really about it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, Melton's a good
For
play
me.
on both sides. All right. Obviously, some of the point guards I just talked about are also shooting guard eligible on DraftKings, so I'm not going to bring them up again. And I only have two shooting guards that I want to bring up that weren't already mentioned on point guard that I want to bring up right now. Obviously, all the top people are good plays. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Bradley Beal is a good play. The dude just dropped like 60 real life points. I'm not going to tell you Paul George is a good play. Like, these guys can play, but their prices, it's not something I want to talk about. There's only two shooting guards on DraftKings that aren't point guard that I want to talk about. And it's RJ Barrett. He's getting a crap ton of minutes still. He only got 33 last game, which is a little bit dipped from what he was. But in a good game, this dude's can hit you a ceiling game easily. OKC is not playing the best defensive basketball right now. This should probably be a decent game. I don't know how many points are scored, but Barrett's just playing minutes. Like I've said before with Randall and all these other people, like Tom Thibodeau plays his starters into the ground. RJ Barrett is probably good for 36 minutes tonight. Can get you more though.
Yeah.
The other one, RJ Barrett's
209.
not really a cash play for me on DraftKings. I just wanted to bring him up. And then the other one is Joe Harris.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just. I mean, he shot 11 for 19, 6 of 9 from 3. Did really really good last game. I really wish they would just start him. I really really wish they would just start him. It's so hard for me to pay $5,500 for him off the bench.
I get it. Yeah, he just gets hot, man. I talked to you last night about what I saw on the NBA. I was watching. I can't remember. I guess I was watching that game at halftime, and they brought up his 3-point statistics versus Steph Curry, and I think his was 2% higher.
Yeah,
than
he's
Steph Curry.
like they paid him like $34 million. I'm so surprised that he's coming off the bench right now when he was starting with Kyrie and Durant. I don't understand what Steve Nash is doing besides. I mean, he said he's experimenting with different lineups with these people out, but the experiment's gone on 2 games now. And yes, I mean you've won both games, so they probably stick with it. But
yeah, without Kyrie and Durant, it's crazy.
if Joe Harris starts, I really like him. If he's off the bench, I kind of like him. Most likely, I'm not playing any of these people that are like shooting guard, small forward eligible in the shooting guard role because Cole Anthony's shooting guard eligible on DraftKings. I'm just gonna play him there and play better point guards.
So let me ask you this.
And then Tyrese Halliburton's also shooting guard eligible too. So if we get news that Fox is out before too long. So,
let me ask you this. Playing devil's advocate here. He came off the bench against Utah, and then he came off the bench against Philly. All right. Utah was a blowout. He played 23 minutes. He didn't score that much.
He came off the bench against Utah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, he came off the bench.
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a blowout. He played 23 minutes.
Yep.
All right. Philly, close game. He played 30 minutes. He got hot. I think they still run this dude near 30 minutes in a close game, even off the bench. So I think off the bench starting, either way, I think he's still in play.
You think this game is going to be close?
They're not going to have Kyrie or Durant. They didn't have him last night either. Well, you got to look at what happened in the game last night. You know, they had their starters out there, but they weren't really playing hard. It didn't look like it to me. You know,
I
would you
think
agree with
Brooklyn
that?
can smack Memphis tonight. So me saying that, that's probably gonna be like a 2-point game. So, um,
Sixers expected to have multiple players miss
yep.
time due to contact tracing. Jesus.
Well,
Man. Okay. Yeah, anyways, my point is I think he's a good play either way, just personally.
yeah. Also, I'm not worried about this Brooklyn game right now because one, I think we would have already gotten the news, and then two, Seth Curry did not play last night. I think someone mentioned that he was on the bench. That's fine. He's not near any of the players. The bench is 6 feet away from the court. Um, so Brooklyn Nets players were not anywhere near him.
Yeah, and
Um,
he's 4,900
it's
on
much more
FanDuel.
worrisome to me with the Washington team. So the Washington Boston game, I don't know what's going to happen with it. If the Washington players keep testing positive, they're probably good. I don't know because I mean, if we're going with this close contact thing, then the whole Washington team is a close contact to Seth Curry. So I don't know what's going to happen with that game. If that game gets ruled off the slate, it changes a lot because we have some value and really good plays out of Boston. But if you don't have anything else from shooting guard, I'm gonna move to small forward.
Well, because shooting guards kind of broke up on FanDuel. So
Completely, completely different. Yeah.
yeah, Harden's 11-4. Beal's still at 10K. He's still getting it done without Westbrook. If Westbrook is any kind of limited, Beal's gonna pick. He's gonna suck up that usage, even though Westbrook's gonna be on the court. We don't really like Westbrook today. I mean, Beal's 10K. I mean,
I
he's
think you're
blew
gonna.
up.
I think you're gonna get a lot of good or low ownership on Westbrook and GPPs.
Yeah,
It's
and
just a
then
finger. Like people play with this
yeah,
crap all the time. Like, it's just I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it's not a cash game play.
you've got Levine's still a good price at 8,100. Trying to see things that just stick out to me. Van Fleet's back to 7,800. I like that. Levert's a lock. Wiggins is still priced down.
What's
Um,
Wiggins' price?
he's 65 still on FanDuel.
Yeah. Right now,
Um,
my two favorite shooting guards on FanDuel is Levert and Terrence Ross.
I was about to say, I was literally going down to that, and I was like, "There's my boy, Terrence Ross,
Yeah,
5,700. He's gonna get
it's Levert and
more
Terrence
minutes.
Ross.
He's gonna get more minutes now. He shouldn't start still, which I
It's
love.
a fast-paced game. No, I don't think he starts.
Yes,
Even
they're
with
gonna
Aaron Gordon
need
out.
him. They're gonna need him off the
Now,
bench.
I will say they have started Terrence Ross in the past with Fournier and Gordon out, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to start. I wouldn't worry about him starting or not. He's going to play like 33 minutes, regardless. Uh, I wouldn't worry about his usage if he starts. You'd be like, oh, he's shooting more off the bench. He's getting more usage. He's a volume scorer anyway. He's going to shoot. All,
Hmm.
honestly, he probably helps Cole Anthony if he does start because it's more assist opportunities of a person that can actually shoot the ball. Um, like he can assist to Vooch, obviously, and Vooch can assist to him. Some of that, I think, it raises the bar of Vooch and Cole Anthony if he does start. So Terrence Ross starting, Terrence Ross off the bench. I like him a lot on FanDuel. He's 61 on DraftKings. I can't pay that much for Terrence Ross.
Yeah, it's getting up there.
Now, I will say, if I start seeing that Terrence Ross is catching a ton of ownership on DraftKings, I'll probably eat the chalk there because I would be worried about him getting 40 points. Um, Am I expecting him to? No. But if he's chalky against Houston, I'd be worried that he's going to get there. If he's going to be 5% owned, then I don't really care about him. I obviously play him in GPPs, but for cash, he's not where I would want to be at.
Gotcha. I'm just looking through the rest
There's
of this.
times when you want to eat the chalk, and there's times when you want to get away from it. So
I bet Buddy Hield's popping today again at 5.2. He's just not getting it done, man. He keeps popping in these optimals.
He's
and
5'2".
Yeah, on FanDuel.
I mean, if Fox is out, he's a better play than Terrence Ross.
Yep, he's 5'2". I also like Clarkson. He's candidate for Sixth Man of the Year. Coming off the bench in Utah, I like him. He's 5,300, but I'd probably rather play Heal if Fox is out, and I like your call on Graham. I think I might jump on board with that in GPPs for sure.
Yeah,
He is gonna
Graham's
blow up.
just too cheap.
And then I'm looking down. It's pretty thin below that, so I think we can probably move on.
All right.
So
Small forward, I have 3 that I want to talk about. So again, shooting guard, small forward's kind of just crappy on most slates. Like, 3 that I want to talk about. First one is Jason Tatum. We have basically the whole entire backcourt um of Boston is out. You don't have either Robert Williams or Grant Williams. You don't have Tristan Thompson. You're gonna have Tyson Tatum, Semi Ojeleye, potentially Taco Fall getting some minutes. Um, Also, I'll go ahead and say it. Taco Fall is getting not ownership. I don't see ownership and stuff out there yet. He's projecting really well. Unless he starts, I'm not playing Taco Fall. And honestly, you shouldn't in GPPs either. Because if he's going to get 10% owned in GPPs, I don't want to be at 10% Taco Fall. No. Just no. This dude has never seen like over like 15 minutes in a real game. Let me confirm that. But I think even at the end of the year last year when they were like, teams were like, oh no, we didn't have it at the end of the year last year. So we've never really seen like that end of the year like when we would play if anyone plays has played like before last year. There was times at the end of the year where you play all these bench players because they're finally gonna get minutes of teams that are resting starters. The most minutes Taco Fall has seen in a regular season game is 8. So there's no way that I'm playing Taco Fall. You're gonna see Semi Ojeleye, you're gonna see Tatum, Tice, you're gonna see those 3 rotate through. Also remember, they're playing Washington. They don't have big they have Thomas Bryant. You could play Jason Tatum at the 5 and be fine. You could play a ending lineup could be Tice, Tatum at the 4 and the 5, Jaylen Brown at the 3, Smart and Pritchard or Teague. That could be your ending lineup. And say Tice is in foul trouble. Play Tatum at the 5. Play Pritchard and one of your other guards along with Marcus Smart. Play 3 guards. Play Jaylen Brown at the 4. Like you can do that against this team. So I don't like Taco Fall. I don't really like Semi Ojeleye. Again, if you need the value, you can go there. But I think there's better options.
I
And
don't
I
like
think
it.
you just want Jason Tatum at that spot anyway.
Yeah, we have a question in chat. It says Thies and Tatum popping for me on both sides. So you already talked about
So
Tatum.
you cut out a little. You cut out a little bit.
Sorry about that. So we have a comment that said Tice and Tatum popping for me on both sides.
Play both.
Comment on both. I like both plays. Tatum is on another level this year, and Tice, there's no Tristan Thompson and no what's his name, Robert Williams, is that his name?
Robert and Grant Williams.
And Grant Williams are both out, so Tice is gonna get all the minutes he can handle.
There's no reason to not play Tice and Tatum in cash today.
Is that both sides?
There's both sites. Currently both sites. Obviously Tice takes up your center role on FanDuel.
Yeah.
He's a power forward / center on DraftKings, so you could play 2 other centers along with him if you wanted to play through like a 2 center kind of lineup. He doesn't affect that. So I don't know how you don't play both on DraftKings, especially. I don't know how you don't play at least Jason Tatum on FanDuel. Right now, I have Tatum and Tice both places, but I haven't made full lineups yet. I'm kind of just making cores and like who I want to be where. But yeah, just play both.
Yeah, so that's what we think about.
I'd be over the field in both in GPPs. Like you have no one else there. You have plenty of guards. So for me saying like I think usage is going to go to Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown and stuff like that, fine. But they have other guards. Those people are like I just don't know how I don't know how Tice doesn't get to 30 minutes, and I don't know how Tatum doesn't play 35 to 38 minutes or even more in a close game. So I think you just play both. Continuing on with small forward, the next one is Brandon Ingram. He's 8,500 on DraftKings. He just keeps getting it done. I mean, you're going to get your 40 to 45 points most likely out of him. He's just going to be a dude that hits value for you and also has upside of getting you 50 or 60. Obviously, he could get you 30 as well, just like every other player can get you below. But but for the most part, he's just getting 40 to 45 and going about your day. He's a good play. I don't think you necessarily need him in cash. I think there's plenty of forward eligible people. Like I have Jason Tatum in my small forward spot. So then you have power forward and then another forward you have to play on DraftKings. I don't think I think I can find other forwards that I like because there's plenty of power forwards that I like. Um, so we'll see. I don't think you need Ingram, but you can play him. And then the last one I want to play is or want to talk about is Kelly Oubre Jr. He's shooting like trash. It's every game except for one. He has shot like absolute garbage. Um, he looks good on the court, like he's flying around the court. He's playing defense. I've watched him. He just can't shoot the damn ball. As soon as he starts hitting stuff, he's gonna be really good. His price keeps going down and down and down. Um, this is a GPP play though. Don't play Kelly Oubre in cash on DraftKings. He may be a cash game play on FanDuel. I haven't looked at his price. I haven't looked much at FanDuel. Um, so I just wanted to bring him up. That's all I have for small forward. So anything that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm just looking through here. I'm not buying into Gordon Hayward. I think that was just he just blew up. LeBron's still 10-2 on FanDuel. It's a pretty good price.
Gordon Hayward's
still.
a soft bitch.
Yeah, he is. John Grant's 7,800. No thanks. Barrett 65.
Did you say Jeremy Grant is 7,800 on FanDuel?
Yeah. He's over Middleton. It's crazy.
Who would ever thought we'd see a 7,800 Jeremy Grant in the NBA period?
Against
regardless of team.
Yep.
Unreal. Okay, continue.
You got Barrett at 65. I like that. It's probably not gonna get there. Otto Porter's 5,600, not bad. Bay is priced up to 5,300. Don't like that. I like Joe Harris a lot. Small forwards, 4,900. That's my guy.
My two small forwards on FanDuel right now are Jason Tatum and Harris.
You love it. All right, cool.
Two favorite ones. Yeah.
Kind of like some Hachimura at 4,800 in GBPs.
So yeah, I have him written up in the power forward stuff on DraftKings.
like
Yeah,
him.
Hachimura, he's small forward on. All right, we can go ahead and talk about him.
Sure.
This is a dude. You're not gonna love playing him, but like he's gonna have games where don't play him in cash. He's just gonna have games where he gets you 40 out of nowhere, and you'll be like, oh, that's awesome, but then people chase him and he sucks again. Like it happens all the time. I think he's 4,800 as well on DraftKings. He's power forward on there. So he's a player you could definitely play. Not for cash. Have some of him in GBP though.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going through the rest of this. And then it starts to get pretty damn thin after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably all I'm looking at small forward.
Solid.
Yep.
So moving on to power forward. I'm just gonna say Giannis is a good play. It's a competitive game. He can definitely pay off his price. That's all I'm gonna say about Giannis. No one else we don't need to talk about Giannis. He's almost a 2 fantasy point per minute person when he's on the court. If he plays 36 minutes a competitive game, he can hit you 70 tonight. It's awesome. He's a good play. Will I have him in cash? I don't know yet. We may have a lot of value. If we do have a lot of value, he's definitely the best stud on the slate for me. So just have to see about that. I just want to comment on Julius Randle's price on DraftKings. He's 9,800. I never thought in a million years I'd see Julius Randle at 9,800. I thought last year when he was like getting in the low 8Ks that people were going freaking crazy because he rarely would pay it off. He's just smashing this year, but we're talking about him needing 50 to pay off his value, and I don't want to go there on DraftKings. It's a little bit different of a scenario on FanDuel where you need more like 46. So I think he's more likely to get you a 46 than he is to get you 50. So I like him on FanDuel, but DraftKings I'm just gonna not go with. I want to bring up Zion because Charlotte is not good defensively, but I don't like Zion for cash. He's good for GBP as he always is. I just want to bring up Zion because it's Zion. He's a decent price. It's a decent matchup. I really don't know how much pick and roll Pelicans use, but I will say that the Hornets are number 1 in pick and roll. And they did, and Trae Young and Clint Capella / John Collins run a lot of pick and roll. We saw what they did to Trae Young, so I don't know how much this team relies on that. So something to keep in mind. I'd have to go look at play usage and stuff like that for the Pelicans. But Zion's always in play. Next one I want to talk to about is Darius Baisley. He's priced up a little bit, but I mean, him and Shea are basically this team. You're gonna have this Grant Hill game every other game. It looks like he's playing a good game, playing a crap game, playing a good game, playing a crap game. Darius Baisley has a person that has upside of 40 or more. He showed it last year. He's shown it a couple times this year. He's 6,200 on DraftKings. I don't think it's a crazy price. I don't think he's a bad play. Um, he just does a lot. He's a double threat every night. Blake Griffin is 6K. I don't really know what to do with him. I've said this over and over and over again. Don't target Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yep.
He is. I mean, he's playing him and Chris Paul are still good friends. They played on the Clippers for a long time. This could be a game that Blake Griffin gets up for. He does well. Still in the back of my mind, I think DeAndre Ayton is a crap defender. I know Blake Griffin is not running the 5, but I don't know what to do with Blake Griffin. I think he is potentially eligible for cash. He's just so cheap. I mean, like, he's just cheap.
And do you want to know his
For
price
his upside.
on FanDuel?
What'd you say?
I said, do you want to know his price on FanDuel? You'll be
Is
sick.
he in the 5Ks?
He's 5,500.
He's 5,500.
5,500.
Okay, so that's a little bit different. I think Blake Griffin is squarely in cash consideration on FanDuel.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a poor price for him on FanDuel. Wow, that's.
But if you go down to him at power forward, I think he'll be different. I bet people pay up for Giannis and they pay up for somebody else at power forward. I think that'll be different.
Yeah. Damn,
but who knows? Hey, I do want to cover somebody else that is a little bit higher price on for power forward. It's Christian Wood. He's still questionable. So I think I don't think he plays. I think Boogie gets to start again.
I don't think he plays either. Yeah. So I'm with you on
that. He's power forward only on FanDuel. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think
Cousins talk about Boogie
will start again.
Yeah, center.
I wouldn't play. I don't think you need Cousins on FanDuel at all. I think Tice is a better play. Cousins started. He still only played like 23 minutes or something.
I know.
Yeah. He went off in 23 minutes, and he'll do it again in probably 20 to 25 minutes again. We could see him get a little bit more run, especially if this game is close. Not saying that the other game wasn't close, but I don't know how conditioned he is. They haven't been running him a lot before, so they may have been. Only the thing that I can think of, they may have been easing him into that role. They may be worried that Christian Wood is going to be out for an extended period of time, or that that's just what they're going to do. If Christian Wood is out tonight and then we see him out again, creeping up and up and up, like if he plays 27 tonight and Wood is out, and then we see Wood out again, I'd expect Cousins to play 30 to 31 to 32 next game. Just watch his minutes, see if they creep up. If Wood is in, then this conversation is completely null and void. Don't play DeMarcus Cousins anywhere. Don't do it. And then you could play Wood. I don't like targeting Vooch that much though, but Wood is a good GPP play. We've seen his upside multiple times throughout this year. He's won people. He won one of our staff members. What was it, 14K the other day because he played him and like he was 8,800. Like that's a huge price up for Christian Wood at the beginning of the season. He played him. He won him 88K or 14K. So you could play Christian Wood. I don't think it's a bad play, but we need that news. Good thing is this is an 8 o'clock game. We probably get that news by lock.
Hopefully.
But remember, this is a 10-game slate. You guys have to be ready for news the whole time. Whether it hurts us or makes it better, I'm always going to react to late news. It's been shown time and time again that if you can react to late news and then make it affect your lineup, most of the time you're gaining a significant edge on anyone that doesn't react to late news.
And most people don't really.
No, a lot of people don't. I mean, like you saw. I mean, probably everyone saw the first slate with Kelly Olynyk being named the starter after lock. He was center only that eligible that time, so he only got to like 12% ownership. I wanted to switch to him if he was power forward like he was yesterday, or the day before, whenever Miami played. We would have had him over Sadiq Bey. We just couldn't do it. So, because he wasn't power forward. Then he became power forward, and look, when he was 4,400 and we knew he was starting, he was 80% owned. That's the difference. Same thing with Willie Cauley-Stein. When he was named the starter at like 3,500 and got you 30, he was like 2% owned that night because no one could switch to him. Obviously, we couldn't either. We had two centers already going, but I'm just saying, like, swapping late, and then we could bring up the Dwight Howard thing from earlier this season. Like, yeah, he sucked. But when Joel Embiid is out and Dwight Howard gets the start, I'm gonna switch to Dwight Howard every single time going forward this season. I'm still gonna do it. Unless they say Tony Bradley's starting, then I just switch to Tony Bradley. It's the same scenario. So just be ready for news for the millionth time.
Yeah, for sure.
Continuing on power forward though, we've talked about Blake Griffin. The next two people we already talked about Rui, so I'm not gonna talk about Rui. Remember, he's just GBP play. Bogdan Bogdanovic for Utah, because there's two of them. They're not related either. Fun fact. For Utah, is a good GPP play against Milwaukee. I already talked about how Milwaukee loves to give up threes to shooting wings, and this screams Bogdan's scenario. I think he's in the 5Ks on DraftKings, so he's getting down there a little bit too cheap. Yeah, 5,300. He's not played well this year. He's coming off that injury, but he has had a 38 point against San Antonio, a 34 against OKC, and he had 26 against Portland. So you're not dead with that in cash. I'm not saying to play him in cash, but I'm just saying if you want to make a personal lineup and had him in there, you'd be fine. I think he's a really, really good GPP play though. I would not be surprised if he gets 40 tonight. Just like I wouldn't be surprised if he gets you 15. So there's a wide range of outcomes with this. But if he shoots well, look at that. He shot 2 for 10 against New York, 1 for 7 from 3. Look what he did against San Antonio, 10 of 13 and 6 of 7 from 3. Like, but those are your two ranges of outcomes there. It's probably not going to get you in the middle tier. He's probably going to get you 40 or he's going to get you like 10. So he's a good GBP play. Last one that I want to talk about, we've already talked about Tice, so I'm not going to go over that. And then just really quickly, I just want to mention Semi Ojeley's name. If he gets a start, he's an okay value piece that you could play. I don't know if you necessarily need him, but you can play him.
Cool.
That's all I got for power forward.
All right, I got a few past Blake, or actually right above Blake. Bagley, man, he's been popping in optimals all year, and he finally had a game.
Bagley so much.
Yep, finally. After we said we hated him, he pops off for 45 Fanduel points.
I don't know what to do with that piece of garbage. How much is he on? I mean, still, he played 29 minutes. Like, it's not like he's getting a ton of minutes.
Right, but he's producing, for sure. He's 5,800.
He produced one. I mean, you can count his Denver game and his Phoenix game at 5,800. He got 28 and 28. And then he's had one good game. I can't imagine playing Marvin Bagley today.
Yeah, he's in the conversation for GPPs. I can't get there.
For GPPs, yeah. I mean, we know his upside. Yeah. For sure.
After Blake, I'm gonna say his name again. I called it on the show the other day. Surge against Golden State. Bigs against Golden State is still a thing. He just dropped 33 on him the other day, and he's probably gonna do it again. Surge is in play at 5,300.
Again, I'll say this as well. He's a better play on FanDuel than he's on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm strictly talking FanDuel. So.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I'm repeating a broken record from that same show a couple days ago, 2 days ago, where you said the same thing, and I was like, yeah, he's a fine play on there, not a good play on DraftKings. He's 5,700 again.
I've got another one here.
If you think you can get a double, then go for it on DraftKings, but I don't want to.
Yeah. My last one in the 5Ks, Draymond Green. They finally got 31 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, if no Steph especially, you're going to see point Draymond. I mean, he's 5,100 on DraftKings.
So I think if Steph's out, you got to play him at 51.
I think Steph plays.
Okay.
I watched the ending of that game. He rolled it kind of hopped down the court for a second, and then got into a normal like running motion, and then they called timeout, and he got taken off for the rest of the game because they were down like 7 or 8. There was just no reason to risk it. I think he ends up playing. But there's always the possibility that he sits. I think he ends up playing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like Draymond
He's
a
questionable
lot.
for a reason. So
Yeah. I like Draymond. Probably the next one down. I mean, Batum's still stroking, but he's still 4,400. He's just really not getting there that much. He did have a 40-point game against San Antonio, but he got 35 minutes. But now you have to deal with the Morris
Marcus
brother.
Morris.
He's back. He's back in the rotation, so probably not going to get there. And then I guess Kuzma's still in play if one of the bigs sit. If
one of the big sit, yeah, you could play him.
But other than that, I hate
I
playing
don't.
Kuzma.
Go ahead and just talk. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. I don't think AD or LeBron sits tonight. I'm not really concerned about that. They both played in the most recent back-to-back. I'm not gonna put any stock into them sitting right now. I'm just gonna go forward with my mindset that they're gonna both play.
Cool. Yeah, that's all I really have for power forward.
Okay. I have a few centers to talk about. Vucevic is going to get a crap ton of usage with all these people out. He could be the reason they keep this game close. This could be a ceiling Vooch game. This could be, the 60-point triple-double Vooch that you want. He's 9K on Draftkings. I think he's 88 or something like that on FanDuel.
Yep.
88. So I think he's an interesting play there. Gobert 7,500 on Draftkings, pretty cheap. I love playing centers against Milwaukee. I know there's definitely a risk of getting in foul trouble with Giannis screaming down the court all the time, but Gobert is pretty disciplined, and I don't think he's going to chase Brook Lopez out to the 3-point line. Brook Lopez hasn't even really been doing that much this season anyway. He's kind of just been there as a center just to be there, which is surprising. I'm surprised he's not playing better. And actually, I just want to touch on that just for a second. Yeah. For GPPs, Brook Lopez is 4,600 on DraftKings. And I actually would not fault you for playing Brook Lopez in cash at 4,600. This is a dude in competitive games that plays minutes and is good. Can shoot threes, can get you some rebounds and some assists, and just pay off that 4,600 price tag. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to play Brook Lopez in cash on DraftKings. That just hit me. I did not have him written down. I forgot. It clicked in my mind when I was talking about Gobert because I remember last time Brook Lopez was like 4,700. See, let me make sure that's right. 4,200. I'm sorry, 4,200. And I was like, man, that's a really low price on Brook Lopez. They're playing Detroit. I don't want to risk that. Got you 35 and a half. Got you 23.75 the game before. So the more competitive the game is, the better Brook Lopez can be. So he's a good play. He's probably going to be a low-owned good play for you, too. I'd be over the field on him in GPPs. He's just too cheap for what he can do and what he's historically done. Already talked about J-Val being a GPP play earlier. Don't love it. I really don't. I don't like that Memphis team. So
he's still cheap on FanDuel, but yeah, I agree with the rotation. It's weird.
We've already kind of talked about Cousins. Played DeMarcus Cousins if Wood is out, so I'm not going to speak to that anymore. Two more centers, and I'm pretty sure they're both power forward eligible as well on DraftKings. I just have them written down here. Al Horford is 5,400.
Yep.
Eventually, we're going to have a really good Al Horford game. We're going to see him get 10 rebounds, 16 points, 8 assists with a block and a steal or something like that, and it's going to happen. At when I don't know. It could be tonight. I think they play New York, so it's not the craziest thing for it to happen tonight. He's an interesting play. And then Mason Plumlee's down to 5,200. He's out of that 6K range that he was at where I didn't like him. I think it's back to where you can start playing Mason Plumlee again. But again, it's Phoenix. I don't know if I want to have anyone against them. Detroit's such a mess right now with minutes, and I don't know who's going to get how many and where. And like Like Derrick Rose got hurt last game, and DeLon Wright still only played like 21 minutes as the starting point guard. I have no idea what they're doing. Killian Hayes out. Like I was like, oh, DeLon Wright, easy play. And then I was like, at worst, he splits minutes with Derrick Rose at 24 and 24. Nope, not even that didn't even happen. So I have no idea about that team. Even Mason Plumlee, I don't know. So I probably would just stay away. You can play him in GPP though. That's all the centers I got.
Yeah, he's 61 on
Anyone
FanDuel.
has any
Probably out of play
questions about
there.
anything? Let's bring them in. Yeah, not on FanDuel. If anyone has any questions, you start putting them in the chat while Hunter finishes up anything.
Yeah, I like Vooch at 88. It's probably gonna be you pay up for
on there.
You're probably gonna either pay up for Vooch or you play Tice or Cousins. That's probably gonna be your picks today on FanDuel.
Yeah.
For center.
Yeah, because isn't Gobert like in the 8Ks?
He's 84. I would just pay up $400 to get Vooch. I just don't.
Yeah, 100%. That's not even a question for me. He's 7,500 on DraftKings, and you obviously can play two centers with Tice as well, so a little bit different on there.
How is Plumlee's defense? Because you got Aiden for a GPP target. He's 7,200.
Yeah, I don't mind Aiden. We've seen his upside plenty of times. I always thought Mason Plumlee was a pretty good defender for Denver. Let me see. So let me see what they've been, how he's been playing. Let's see. Let me see what they currently got. DVO. So he's a pretty middle of the tier defender right now so far on this season. Looks like Detroit's ranked anywhere from, depending on how you're looking at stuff, anywhere from like 15th to like 20th in the league against centers. Depending if you're looking at archetype or just an overall center or a bunch of different things, 15th to 20th. So just kind of in the middle. DeAndre Ayton's a much better play on FanDuel at 72 than he is at 76 on DraftKings. I don't want him on DraftKings at 76. I think Gobert is an elite play compared to him for $100 cheaper. So yeah, not there for me on DraftKings. Still for sure. 7,200 is fine.
Yeah, and then I'm dropping down. We like Cousins, man. I mean, he is a 1.67 fantasy point per minute guy as of right now. 1.67. So if this dude gets, I really think they're still trying to get him into shape.
I have him at 1.54, but we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, still, 1.5. Come on, he's 5,300. He got 20. What did we say? 20 minutes last game. 24 minutes.
23
minutes. He probably gets. This is obviously if Wood doesn't play, he probably gets like 28. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I was gonna say 27.
I think they're
27,
really
28 minutes.
Him in because
I think he gets a couple more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 28 minutes, you're getting 1.5. So you do the math. That is.
He had a 26% usage rate when he started last game.
Yeah, I think he's number one for me if he starts. Then Tice and then Vooch on FanDuel for me.
Yeah.
If he starts.
It's all really close.
Yeah.
On FanDuel, it's kind of. I'm gonna probably leave the center open to interpretation for when I'm building my lineups on FanDuel, and see what I land on there. Because I'm not gonna be mad about getting either one of those three. So I don't think I'm gonna let it dictate my lineup as much. I'm just gonna build the rest elsewhere. And see what happens.
And then I love Horford at 52. That is way too cheap for this dude. This dude should be like 6K. I know he's not playing the greatest, but he's a 6K player. He is going to pop off. I like him.
Let's look at Horford just for a second too. Sure. He's actually just center eligible on DraftKings. I lied about that power forward eligibility. But regardless, he played very poorly against Miami. Only played 21 minutes. And, dude, Bam is an elite defender.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know that, Bam is an elite defender. He is a very good center. It's not like I remember 2 years ago, this dude wasn't starting, and then he finally started. And, I remember playing him for, a week and a half, and his price finally got to 7K, and I got off of him. But he's a really good player. And if you eliminate his one bad game against Miami, you look at Charlotte, Utah, New Orleans, Orlando, New Orleans, he's been at 25 to 30 fantasy points. At 5,200, he's not going to kill you. he's not going to kill you at 5,400 on DraftKings. So just remember, it is a 10-game slate. The ownership's most likely going to be spread out, except for like Boston and Cole Anthony and Levert, and Cousins if he plays. So differentiate yourself elsewhere. I think Boston is a really solid plays. I think Cole Anthony is a really solid play. I think Levert is a really solid play. Differentiate yourself elsewhere with the rest of your lineup. Just kind of that chalk is really good today. And if DeAnthony Melton starts picking up a lot of ownership too, I think he's a really good play. So
Yeah.
there very well could be better plays than DeAnthony Melton. We're still talking about a guy that's going to get 23 to 25 minutes. He's not going to push. He's not going to get you 30 35 minutes. Like say we have Steph Curry out, we could see Damian Lee or Brad Wanamaker get 35 minutes. And if Damian Lee started, I love Damian Lee. That dude smashed so many times without Curry last year. I'm glad that they're starting to play him more anyway. So I'm going to look more into the Curry situation because you could put a Damian Lee into your lineup and then switch to a Talen Horton-Tucker or someone that is just going to get 20 minutes on like from the Lakers or from someone else in those late games and still be okay with your total line. But like I said, I think Curry plays. I'm going to look more into it as we get closer to lock, and go from there. So, does anyone have any questions about anything?
Yeah, I think I'm done with center.
Almost an hour.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything for center. That's pretty much it. I'm not touching Taco Fall at all.
I don't think anyone should play Taco Fall. I think it's a mistake.
That's pretty much it.
Don't get too fancy. No reason for it. All right.
Yeah, well, this slate is called a prove it slate. You play the best plays.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of. Sorry, if you hear my dog bark, he's growling at the door. So there's a lot of good plays. There's a lot of underpriced plays as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Just have to see how everything shakes out at the end. We still got 4 hours before lock.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll get some. I don't think it'll be as much as last night, but I think we'll definitely have some news for sure.
Sure, we'll have some more dumb news.
Let's roll into our flag plans.
I mean, it's so easy tonight. Just say Jason Tatum and Levert and Tice.
Yeah, I can't use
Cole
Levert.
Anthony.
Yeah, can't use Levert.
I mean, my flag plan is Jason Tatum, and if I can't use that, then okay, I'll just give you two studs that I think are good paying up for outside of Jason Tatum, and it's Giannis and it's Vucevic.
I like
so there you go.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to explain those. My underpriced person that I really like today, I'll give you two. And again, it's Devontae Graham, and it's Al Horford for me.
Yep. Man, I thought you were about to steal mine. Okay, good.
This is DraftKings. If you were gonna say Blake Griffin, he was what I was about to say.
Yep.
But this is DraftKings.
He's
and Al Horford.
Yep, for sure. Both of those guys are way underpriced on FanDuel. I love Blake Griffin tonight. He is 5,500.
5,500 is a dumb price. He can 10x that.
5,500. He is my flag plan for sure on FanDuel. And then my stud, you already said Giannis. I'm going to go with Bradley Beal. I'm going to go with Beal tonight. I think Westbrook's going to be a little limited. Not a terribly, but I'm going to go with Beal. I think you can play Beal tonight.
I mean, you can always play Beal. It's just his price is getting up there.
Yeah, it is.
But
his price was 10K when he dropped 70
I never thought
I'd
see a 10K Beal with Westbrook there.
Yep.
Just blows my mind.
He dropped 75.
I remember when Beal was playing with John Wall. Like when Beal got to like 7K, we were like, I mean, this is 4 or 5 years ago now. Like we would be like, man, Beal's expensive. Like John Wall would go out, you'd play Beal, he'd get up to 8K, everyone would never play him again. He'd get dropped back down to 6Ks. And now it's like if Beal's in the 8K, you're like smashing to get Beal in your lineup. So,
yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's crazy to see how he's evolved as a player behind John Wall to now kind of being the focal point of the offense. All right, if no one has any questions, anticipate a lot of late news and pivots. Yeah, Yellowbird, this NBA sucks for this reason. There's always and it's the slate spread out. It's not like NFL where half the slate locks at 1, then you have 3 hours to wait for news. We have the slate locking at 7, and we have 3 games at 10 o'clock. We should get most of the real news for all the games except for the last 3, which have some of the most important news in them, being Darren Fox and Steph Curry. So yeah, it's a shit show for the 10th millionth slate in a row. So just gonna have to kind of deal with it. Anyone else got any questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna hop off of here.
Yeah, I think we're good. That was a pretty decent
Sounds
show.
good.
A lot of games. A lot of news coming.
Yeah. And I'll be in chat throughout the day, obviously, for the last like hour and a half or so before lock. But I think we have a pretty good slate. I think there's a lot of good plays on the slate that we can consider. I think I have a really good core of people for DraftKings. I think I have a really good beginning to a lineup on FanDuel. So
awesome. All right, man. Appreciate you. And we'll see you in the
all
chat.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone have a good day.